To all who listen to this happy pod, welcome. My name is Noah Parker, and this is my World of Wonder. And I want to welcome you back to part 2 of our Epcot tier list. Last week, Mom and I started kind of categorizing or assigning letter grades to all of the attractions in Epcot, but we went on a little bit long. So here we are finishing out that list. And without any further ado, I'll turn it back over to myself and Mom. Well, let's move on from there and talk about something that I think is supposed to get a certain letter grade based on rules I set in the first one with Magic Kingdom. But it is Meet Anna and Elsa at Royal Sommerhus. Mm-hmm. Sommerhus. In Norway, obviously. Mom kind of alluded to it earlier when we were talking about the Frozen Ever After. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think they're just supposed to get like B because of kids. Yeah, I think it's a B. It's not something I'm interested in. I could care less meeting Anna and Elsa. Yeah. Especially because I'm mad at them for taking over Maelstrom's spot. But yeah. Simply, yeah, I guess B because of rules. Yeah. We are going to move on down, and this is the first one that is the same thing but split up because they are different. But it's not it's the same but different. It is the same but different. And that is going to be Mission Space. And it's I put the colon in the wrong spot there apparently because when I looked at it again, it's Mission colon space green, right? And then, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Semantics. So we're going to talk about the green side first. Go ahead. So they've changed it. Oh, well, we kind of need to allude to talk about the fact that the green side is a less intense. Yes, there's no spinning. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with this ride, it sits 4 people across, and then it has a projection that comes up to each individual person, but like it's one big console that comes up, and so you have a screen that you watch, and you get to watch like you're taking off and going into space. It's like an astronaut training simulator. Yes, is what they call it. That's exactly what they call it. So you have different positions like your commander, pilot, engineer, and navigator. And you each have different things you have to do. You are the navigator. Yes. That's my OG Disney peeps. Yes. Okay. Green side. So this, for me, the green side, since they've changed it, is a C, almost a D. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Because before they changed it, the green ride and the orange ride were the same. It was the same. It was a mission to Mars. Mission. Exactly. And now it's a flight around the world. Yeah, it's basically a short orbital flight. Yes, but it's like soaring from higher up. You still go over the Great Wall. Yeah, you know what? You're right. You still go over the Great Wall. You still kind of go around and see Disney. You still see the Eiffel Tower. Shoot, maybe I'm just a huge Disney nerd or Disney space nerd because I loved it because I was like, oh, we're orbiting the Earth. And I was not thinking about I was looking at all this stuff. I'm like, I'm in space. And I didn't do that at all. Because now, when it was mission, when it was missions, when it was the same mission. Yeah. I totally loved it. I mean, it was a B. Oh, it was a B because that's so fair. Some of the kids, when we took the kids, when we took them when they were younger, some of the kids were and some of the kids were too little to ride the intense version. Because there's a height requirement difference on the two sides. There's a height requirement. There's also, Mom didn't think that was going to be a good one because there is gravity. There's G-forces on the orange ride, which we'll talk about. But then some of the kids were, and Dad and Grandjan were not able to ride it. So I ended up going with the little kids on the green ride most often. And I loved it because it was very much, we're going into space. Everybody hand on the throttle because we're going to tip into the, you have to land yourself on the runway. And then they changed it. And now it's like, okay. That's totally fair. And now we're going back and we're just going to land. Right. But it's like, and to me, that made it a D. The things that happen are the same. Yeah. Meaning there is for some reason, something goes wrong when you're trying to land the shuttle. Yeah. Both on Mars or back on Earth. Yes. On both versions, you overshoot the runway for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. But the difference is in Disney World, you hit the end of the runway and you just kind of fall off the edge, I believe. I said at Disney World. In the green ride. In the green ride. You kind of like go off the end of the runway a little bit. Yeah. In the orange ride, you overshoot the runway and you tip down into a cavern and you settle back down. Yes. So, like, the events are the same. The motion events, I will say, are the same. Yes. but like the visual events are completely different.
It's like Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom.
It is. And Indiana Jones at California.
Jones, yep.
Or at Disneyland. You're right.
It's the same ride.
It's the same ride, but it's different.
But one's more intense.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's fair. D is totally fair on that. I wasn't even thinking in that mindset. Now that you've put me in that mindset, I'm kind of mad. Anyway.
Right.
Now we talk about the orange side, which is they call it the more intense training mission.
Yes.
And the biggest difference is the green side just uses side to side, basically XYZ. Mm-hmm. Yeah, roll, pitch, and yaw.
Yes.
Motion to get you to feel the rocket taking off. It tilts you back and all this stuff. On the orange side, it is a centrifuge.
Yes.
So it spins the whole thing. So you have your roll, your pitch, your yaw, but then you also have G forces that push you back in the seat. You know, you get
like you can feel
it in your chest. It feels like an elephant sits down on your chest.
Yeah.
It is intense.
It's intense.
And you go to Mars. For the most part, like I said, the motion events are the same, with the exception that you are spinning on the orange ride to create artificial gravity to make you feel like you are actually accelerating.
Right.
I personally love this version of the ride. Mm-hmm. I love the mission to Mars. I love the idea of going to Mars. I really love the G-forces.
Yeah.
As much as there was one time I went on it, kind of scared the crap out of me because I think it was one of the first couple times I went on it because I almost blacked out.
Oh.
Because I think it was the first time I went on it.
It had to have been the first time.
Because I didn't know what to expect. And I was like,
and it's intense.
It makes you, at first it makes you kind of panic a little.
Yeah.
And the panicking does not help. When you panic because you think you're going to black out, you usually black out.
Yes.
So yeah, it scared me at first, but now it is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. And I do want to give a disclaimer because we did, like I said, we had several, two of our kids and Dad and Grandma Jan are not able to ride. They're not able to ride this ride at all.
Yeah.
But they really cannot ride this orange ride.
Yeah.
Like, it messes with them. So if you have any sort of, you don't like confined spaces and things like that, or, it really is better to err on the side of caution. Do that green ride, even though I did give it a D. It really is better to take that less intense training, see what it's like.
Don't go on it if you're pregnant.
Don't go on it if you have any back issues, I'm not going to say
heart problems.
Yeah, heart problems for sure, high blood pressure, anything like that. Don't go on that.
Yeah.
If you have a known health issue, don't go on the orange ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say because I can ride it, I give it an A. But keep your own personal things in mind when you're considering this ride. I think most of the time this has a little bit of a lower wait time because of the fact that it's so intense, and I feel like more and more people are just unable to ride it.
Yeah.
But it is one of my favorites. So.
Yeah.
Now we move on to another thing that I've never experienced before, and I would be willing to bet you probably haven't either, because I just don't care enough, to be honest. Sorry about it. But
the most recently though was 8 years ago in 2016.
Okay. And that's going to be Reflections of China, and
and so this one to me,
I don't think I've ever really went into the China Pavilion.
What did we give?
Impressions de France.
No, it's going to be a D. I will give it a D because it's the same theater.
Oh, you're right. As you know what, I have seen
this. It is the same theater as Canada Far and Wide Circle Vision 360 because it just has the bar. There's no seating in this. Yeah. So it's air conditioned. Yay.
But you still have to stand.
But you have to stand up.
And it's like China.
And it's fascinating. And it's interesting to hear about the Great Wall of China and some of the other traditions of it. All of it is fascinating. So the reason I've done a lot of these is because I do like that aspect of the educational learning and learning about new countries and stuff like that. And so based on that, for the educational aspect of it, I definitely give it an A or a B. But because of the aspect that if you have little kids and you go on this, they're going to sit on the floor and you have to stand up because you're an adult.
Yeah.
So
super lame.
Yeah. Okay.
Swiftly away from that, getting out of there.
On to the fun.
One of the more impressive things that's come out of the Imagineering is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Yes.
Which I like a lot, but I don't love the number of screens. It's one of the biggest things I don't like about Universal Studios is that most of their rides that are themed to any movies is a movie screen.
Yeah.
And I don't love that, and it's unfortunately a reason that I don't want to give Remy's a very high letter. But the ride system itself is really cool. It's trackless ride system. It all works off of Wi-Fi and it's crazy stuff.
I like the technology that they use, but I agree with you. It really puts me in mind of, and I don't know what you gave it for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but that's really what it puts me in mind of.
They're very similar.
And I just don't like the screens and stuff.
Yeah, too many screens for me.
Too many screens.
I'm going to say B because it is absolutely worth riding.
Yeah, it is worth riding.
But it's not quite.
And the kids, especially if they've watched the movie, the kids are going to love it.
Oh, yeah. The one thing to be aware of, there are parts of the dialogue in this that is in French. I know a lot of people who've gone on this and like, what? Why is it French? And the reason that it's French actually is because A, it's in the France Pavilion in Epcot. But B, because it is a clone of the same ride of the same name that is in Disneyland Paris.
Yes.
And they
the movie
literally
takes
just
place in France,
exactly.
So
They literally, it's the same ride. They took this same audio tracks and everything and just brought it over. So that's the main reason that some of it's in French. Yeah. It is in Paris. It's in English and French. Different lines are in different languages. Yeah. They just use the exact same thing here. Why not?
And I love when they do that. They most recently, I won't say most recently, they have done that in the past with rides where they brought this particular ride over from another park. For example, Main Street Electrical Parade came from Disneyland first. Yeah. And it came to Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. And then Lights, Motors, Action, before it went away, came from Disneyland Paris. Yeah,
because it was in the Walt Disney Studios park.
Yeah. And I love when they do stuff like that, when they share the technology and stuff between the parks, because like, I don't know about you, but I would love to be able to go to all the parks.
Me too.
And experience all.
It's a bucket list goal I have.
Them.
I used to go to all of them eventually.
And
we'll see if it happens, but I don't know.
As soon as we're monetized and
that's what I'm saying. When we're making money, or if we get bought out by like All Ears Net or something, I'm fine with that. Or if y'all listening out there, or DFB. AJ, hit me up. Cool. So we move down our list to the Seas, main tank, and exhibits. So this is everything but the ride at the Seas with Nemo and Friends. And I honestly really enjoy being in this area. I like seeing the manatees. I like seeing the sharks. I love seeing the freshwater exhibits, the ocean
they have
life
the dolphins.
Exhibits. Yeah.
They have the sea turtles and stingrays.
The only thing I want to see here is wherever they filmed Boy Meets World and they're feeding the dolphins, I want to go there.
So that's actually, I don't know if it's a tour that they brought back, but they had it before COVID. So, like a lot of the tours went away because of COVID. Right. And they're bringing some stuff
behind
back.
The seeds.
So they had a tour where like it wasn't necessarily that you could feed the dolphins and stuff like that, but that particular tour was if you were scuba certified, you could actually go scuba diving. And so that's actually an add-on and cool. Stuff. I think they have another one, but I think it's part of another park system, maybe not Disney, where you can swim with the dolphins and things like that. Oh yeah,
that's at SeaWorld, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Discovery Cove, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Anyway. I give this one, you know what? I totally want to give this one an S.
I'll go with you on the S on that, because if the second biggest aquarium is the world or the United States, I always get confused on that.
I don't know.
It is definitely the second biggest in the United States, because the biggest one is in Atlanta.
Okay.
In the United States. Okay. It might be the whole world, but I know for sure in the United States.
And the reason I love this is because, as we've said before, I homeschooled the kids. And so to me, education is just... learning never stops. Yeah. You cannot go to Disney and not learn something.
Right.
There's so many aspects to it. And so I think most recently when I've gone, they were doing some training with the dolphins in the tank. So they had like a box or something that they had to put up, on the glass. And then the trainers roped it off so nobody could go in there and distract the dolphins and stuff. But you can watch them and they hold up something in the box, and it was like a shape or like a doll or a ball or a hoop, something like that. And the training consists of the dolphin retrieving that object.
Oh, that's
neat.
That's
in the tank with them.
I like that.
So it's totally cool. And then of course they have, all the different fish swimming around. There's plenty of places to sit, just literally sit down on the carpet and watch the fish.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I really like that. And I definitely like the manatees.
Manatees. Dugong.
Don't get me started on swimming with the manatees.
They're
That's another
the cow
thing.
of the sea. Dugong.
But I personally cannot look at. They do have stingrays,
yes.
and I cannot look at stingrays because I am
done to Steve Irwin.
So salty, no pun, about them.
Saltwater creatures.
Killing Steve Irwin.
Well, here's the thing. I actually saw some. This is totally dying grass here, but it's fine.
I know, dying grass all over.
Okay. There was an article, or not an article, but it was like a meme that I saw, and it was like, realistically, Steve Irwin. Yes, he passed away, so we will never really know. But
yes,
he would never hold a grudge against the stingray for it.
He never.
It was like I think it was a comic strip where it's like Steve Irwin like in ghost form, and he swims up, or his ghost form floats up to the stingray and goes, "Oh, sorry, scared you, buddy. Like, didn't mean to spook you,
mate.
Yeah, didn't mean to spook you, mate."
Yeah. Well, and his best friend. I'm digressing too.
He totally wouldn't have been like upset with him, and we all like. It's like hard for us not to hold a grudge. I feel like against him.
His best mate, Wes, actually got bit by an alligator, one of the alligators or crocodiles there, and, at the zoo. And how Wes was is how Steve would have been, and he totally didn't hold a grudge against that croc.
It's like my fault.
Yep,
spooked him.
Got a little too close.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Well, let's move on then. Because now I'm stuck in my Australian accent.
And you're going to be because
we're going to the seas with Nemo and friends. This is the ride.
Sydney.
Yeah. And I've talked about it before. I've said it before. You get no say here. Sorry. This is my override. This is an F. This is the worst ride in Walt Disney World. I am so sorry. I can't stand it.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Historically, I would have loved previous iterations of this ride. If it was still the elevator down to Sea Base Alpha,
yes,
I would have loved that version. And I don't remember a lot about. I've never experienced it, but I don't remember a lot about it. But listening to the Connecting with Walt podcast, they did a whole series on Sea Base Alpha and the seas before it became the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Right.
And the way that they were talking about it, all the things they described, I'm like, that sounds so much better than what we have.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I can't stand the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Did you give the Little Mermaid one in?
The Little Mermaid
did that one get an F?
It got a D, I think, because I think I like the Journey of the Little Mermaid a little bit better than the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Okay, the only I will give you the F. I will not. That is your override. I would just say the only reason that I do enjoy it is because you get to sit down and it's an air conditioning. Honestly, it's
not good enough for me because I can just walk in the exit.
I don't like Haunted Mansion, but I can sit down and I can watch. Or I can sit down and be in air conditioning.
Haunted Mansion is the best ride in Magic Kingdom. Well, it was. Can't say now because I haven't ridden Tron yet, but I love the Haunted Mansion. We'll see.
Tron is an S.
But yeah, sorry. Okay. I can't stand it.
That, yeah.
I would much rather just walk into the gift shop and experience the tanks and everything. And
absolutely.
Totally avoid the ride itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So we move down a list. Oh, I don't know if you're going to get to use your override. Sorry.
That's okay.
But we've agreed on a lot of things except for that one. That's the first thing we've hard disagreed on. And I'm sorry.
And I can't override your override.
Yeah.
So
if you override my override, it just doesn't get a letter.
It just doesn't get a letter.
It just goes
and
away.
It definitely needs a letter. So
Soaring Around the World.
Is it back to Soaring Around the World now?
I can't remember what's happening in there right now. I think it is.
Let's go to the maps and see what's happening here.
I think it is Soaring Around the World.
Wrong one.
Please hold while we Google some things really quick.
Yeah, it doesn't actually.
Isn't it in the app?
Oh, here it is. 45-minute wait.
Cool.
It is soaring around the world, or at least it has.
I think it was soaring around
right now.
Soaring over California. I honestly think it was soaring over California the week before or the week after I was there, because I remember seeing it.
We went
around that time, and I was so mad because
when we went, it was soaring
definitely
over California.
Oh, why didn't we go?
Not you and I. Not you and I. When Dad and Grandjan and I went.
Which you guys haven't been since we went in March, have you?
No.
So it was before March. So it must have been in April.
Okay.
Not April. February.
Oh, wrong way.
I'm dyslexic. Sorry about that. Anyway, soaring. So it is soaring around the world right now.
Okay.
I prefer soaring over California.
Most definitely.
100%.
I do as well.
I wish, honestly, okay, I don't know why California's is soaring around the world and then sometimes soaring over California. The one in California should be soaring over California.
And every once in a while.
Soaring around the world, as opposed to every once in a while being soaring over California.
Yeah.
And then Disney World should be the opposite, where it's soaring around the world, and then occasionally it's soaring over California.
I agree.
Because it would be cool, and they should have it where they just flip.
Yeah.
Because then I can just pick which park I want to go to based on which soaring I want to ride. But anyway, so soaring around the world, I still like it. The transitions I don't think are as clean.
On soaring around the world, no, I don't either.
Because
I don't think so either.
They have to do things that don't really make sense.
Because you don't just go from...
You can't go from an ocean
the Great Wall to the Taj Mahal.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way.
So there's transitions that don't fit as well. Yeah. The scents aren't as iconic. I don't think Fiji is an iconic scent, but I'm pretty sure that's just Old Spice.
And I feel like...
I like the orange groves.
And some of the, I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It's not like it goes around the world.
Right.
It goes like weird, and then it goes back over here, and then it comes back over here.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's not like around the world in 80 days kind of thing.
Right, where it makes like...
You take off from Florida.
Demographic
and you go across the United States to California, and then
or Utah or wherever it is.
Yeah.
And then, it just doesn't make sense.
I still want to give it like B.
A B.
Because I do enjoy the ride. To be honest, we'll get to it in Animal Kingdom's tier list, but basically the way I look at it is that Soarin' crawled so that Flight of Passage could soar.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because they're both soaring, but
but the technological advancement from Soarin' to Flight of Passage,
and I don't know if a lot of people realize that they're the same ride system, or
right.
Very similar ride system, because obviously Flight of Passage is a much more advanced version, but fundamentally it started from the same point.
Ironically, that's one of the things that Marcy does not like about Flight of Passage.
That it's too much like Soarin'?
No, that it's made that change, because now it's got it's more of like a 4D kind of thing, because you can feel your banshee breathing and stuff, and she hates that.
I love that.
Sorry, Marcy.
Maybe
love you.
Marcy, maybe me and you were doing the Animal Kingdom one in a month or so.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll skip down to our final four here, kicking off the final four with Spaceship Earth, which is definitely on the top end of my list because of the fact that we were homeschooled. Like you've said multiple times now, this is where we got a lot of education about communication and how we got to the communication we have now. And
I want to use my override.
Please.
This is my override. This is an S.
Okay.
Because
I would have given her that if she just said it.
For me, because it is the history of communication, and I am a communications major, journalism major, and I absolutely love the way that everything, while I don't agree with some aspects of it, as far as, I'll just say I don't agree with some aspects as far as time. I do hieroglyphs and cave drawings were definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And that's where communication started. Yeah. And as far as written communication and things like that. And so I really enjoy that. And just the whole genesis and journey in communication.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure if you ask Dad, this is a great place to take a nap.
Okay,
it's slow moving.
Let's be honest. Sit down. With Dad, if it's longer than 5 minutes, it's slow moving and it's air conditioned, it's a great place to take a nap.
Great place to take a nap. So.
Yeah. Cool. So there you go. That's
yeah.
Nice. Battery died, but that's okay. We'll take a short break anyway. We'll get the new battery in there, and we'll keep going with our last three, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay, we're back, and I am officially over the cameras for the day. So we're gonna bust through these last three and get out of here.
Hopefully.
First and foremost, we have to talk about Test Track, and I really struggle putting it on this list right now because it is only going to matter for almost exactly a month.
It closes what, June 17th?
June 15th.
17th.
17th?
17th, yeah.
Last I saw it was the 15th.
Double check. I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Go ahead and just talk about Test Track while I look at it.
So Test Track started off in 82 when it opened. It was an opening day ride at Epcot, and it was World of Motion. It was very much that slow ride like Spaceship Earth, but some of the things I haven't talked about that definitely need to be talked about, and I forgot to with the Living with the Land, is they were designed to be inclusive. So if there was a guest that was in a wheelchair and couldn't get out of a wheelchair, transfer into the ride, they could actually take that wheelchair onto the ride. And that's how World of Motion was. Living with the Land, they still have that feature.
Yes, they do. And actually they have that with the Three Caballeros.
Yes, they Mexico do with that as well. And then also, believe it or don't, I believe they still have the cars, specific cars where you can transfer or take a wheelchair on Spaceship Earth as well.
Yes.
And that's that was like one of the I don't know what the word is when he is, but it was like one of the it was like a huge momentous thing that they were able to do because it was the first time that people who were physically challenged were able to still go on rides, right? Because otherwise you would just be like, oh, sorry, can't.
Like, have fun.
Yeah. And so with World of Motion, that was something that was still included. Now, when they moved to Test Track, the original Test Track with the Test Track dummies, that went away.
Yep, she gone.
And the ride cars came in. Now, I like the ride cars.
Ride cars are nice.
I like all that. I like how they had the different types of roads, and that was pretty cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
And they went through like the different testing, and here's what your car goes through in order to be processed and be ready to be put on the road.
Yeah.
I really like that. So that would be, I mean, we're going like solid B right now. World of Motion, this, and then the new one.
The 3.0, but
yes. So then the newer
2.0.
Newer one, the next one where you could design your sim coaster, sim car.
Yeah.
That I felt like reached into like some of these others, like World of Motion and the original Test Track, I feel like were kind of for school-age children, but they were really more like middle school kids and up because you had to have a certain understanding of stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I did not like ever going into the soundproof room, which had like tiles like the walls
gosh,
here.
I loved
and it was
that.
so quiet, but you could be standing next to someone who would sound like they were like talking like this. I hated that.
My favorite part was that if you tooted in there, no one would ever hear it because the walls just sucked it right up. He's like.
And so with the introduction of the sim car and where you can design it and stuff, I feel like that reached right into like Gen Z and stuff, because they've only ever known life with some sort of technology.
True.
And so they were able, that really like helped pull them in as well. I think it kind of pushed it away for certain generations, but
yeah,
like Granny Jen doesn't understand really how to do it.
Well,
she's like, oh, look, I made a blue car and it goes like this and it's got a big triangle in the back, and she doesn't understand.
Well, that's because once you let your finger on the screen, it goes, and let's like this shape is close enough.
Closer. So, cool. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I like B. I like B for that. I'm excited for what the future is gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what it is, but I'm really sad because I didn't know when I went to Disney World for my honeymoon in 2022 that I was never going to ride Test Track again. If I knew that, I would have ridden Test Track when we went in March. But we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
Because we didn't know yet. I think it was literally a week after that. I think they actually talked about redoing it
before.
But we didn't know that there
was no closing date. Yeah.
It was it was not supposed to happen. I didn't think it was supposed to happen this fast. But
yeah.
Anyway, got to get through these. Turtle Talk with Crush. Turtle Talk with Crush is pretty fun, to be honest. I don't like the fact that as an adult I get ignored. But it could have been because I was a little bit farther to the back. But if there's not as many
kids in there.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to talk to Crush. That's super lame. But it is fun. It's basically an interactive little show where Crush is being... Crush is called.
It's almost like a Q&A.
Yeah, it's like a Q&A with a real life sea turtle.
Yeah.
So you can see what life is all about under the sea and stuff. And they make a lot of references to like Buzz Lightyear and the Little Mermaid, and there's a few random things in there.
Yeah.
But it is live. There's a dude in a room who has a live mic and can hear in the room. So kids can ask questions and he can answer them. Yeah, he can see them.
Because he can point out. He can say.
He can be like, this little dude here with the orange shell. Yeah. He means is that little fella in the front with the orange t-shirt. Yeah. So it's really fun. For kids, I think it's amazing. For older people, if you're like me, it's really fun still.
It's really still fun.
If you're not like me, then dude, you're probably not supposed to be in Disney World anyway. Go to Universal. For that, I'll give it B.
Yeah.
I feel like 90% of the stuff in here is B's.
I love it.
Yeah. And then we get to one of my the things I enjoy more. And that's the Voices of Liberty. It's also our last item.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's nothing beyond V in the alphabet in all of Epcot.
But I am going to end Voices of Liberty with one other thing. It's not really it's kind of like the flag ceremony at Magic Kingdom, but sure. I'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
I love Voices of Liberty.
Me too.
It's an a cappella
I'm a sucker for a cappella.
And they sing patriotic songs, and it's just can't listen to it without
at least an A, if not an S.
Yeah, exactly. I think A or S is fine. Yeah, either
this
one
might be
is
my
fine.
first 8.5 ever.
8.5.
Yeah.
S point. No, 8.5 because it's almost an S.
It's almost an S.
Yeah. And then what I want to tag on with this, and it happens after their last show, is they have the drum and fife corps.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it goes back to colonial America, and
I mean that's what that area is themed to anyway.
Themed to. And so just to see that, it's just like, oh my gosh! And they're in their costumes for colonial America and
super
stuff.
Cool.
And it's just this is our heritage.
Yeah.
Of America and stuff. So yeah.
I love it. Well, there you go. That is all of the attractions in Epcot. There's a lot more than I thought there was. But I think it's because, when you think of attractions, your mind instantly goes to rides. But you also have to consider that any concert is an attraction. An attraction is literally anything that attracts people.
Yeah.
Anything
it's
that attracts a crowd.
but it's also definitely an attraction.
So there's a lot more in there. That was like 53 or 43 things in there. I think Magic Kingdom was way longer. But but that's everything in Epcot right now. Plus, I mean, we did touch all the concert series that are not year-round things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm excited because the next time that we do our podcast, I will be remote, but
yes.
The next time we do our podcast, it will be from Epcot again.
Yes.
On June 15th, right after they open Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza. And so some of these concerts may be taking place at Communicore Plaza. That's the whole reason it was created.
Yeah.
Was for the festivals and stuff. And so they might still have things like the ones at the different showcase pavilions and
right.
stuff, the different countries, those will probably stay there. But like they might be able to do more than one type of concert at Communicore Plaza and another one at American Garden Theater. So.
Right.
It'll be very interesting to see how all this progresses.
Yeah. There we go. Well, that sorts us out for our Epcot tier list. Let us know if you guys agreed with us or if you hyper disagree with us. That's fine too. Let us know. Next week is a unplanned podcast. As of now, we have nothing on the schedule, but there will be a podcast. We are recording, like I said, about a week early, a little bit less than a week earlier than normal. So I don't know what's going on next week, but something will happen And until then, guys, let the wonder take hold.